I've always promised that I'll be up straightforward with each and every one of you, and um, and I will do that today because, well, the truth is, this isn't working. There's not enough people. There's not enough money. I got so much to do. This isn't going anywhere. April Fools,
Very funny.
but that's what the Trance of Scarcity tells us. This little book changed my life many, many years ago now. And it's by a woman named Victoria Castle. And as far as I know, it's really the only thing she's written. I've never found another piece by her that cropped up or showed up or anything like that. And in this, what she opens with is that reminder that, or that epiphany perhaps, that for most of our lives, most of us have been conditioned to believe that there's not enough, that we're not good enough, that there's not enough money out there, that there is scarcity. And yet the science of mind teaches us that there is an absolute abundance in our lives. And we're being, and as we follow this philosophy, we're called again and again and again to remember that there is an absolute abundance in our world, if we believe it. But for far too long, we were brought up with the old terrible beliefs that there's something wrong and there's something broken and there's not enoughness in our world. What Victoria shares as the antidote to this, if you will, is really simple from my perspective. And while she doesn't say it outright, we fall back to some simple basic science of mind principles as we think. She shares a great quote in here. If the aim is to prove I am enough, the project goes on to infinity because the battle was already lost on the day I conceded that the issue was even debatable. Yeah. Wow. The minute that I believe I have to do something to prove even to myself that I am enough, well, is a demonstration that I don't believe that I'm enough. It's kind of a catch-22 sometimes. And I believe just the recognition of this is the opportunity for each and every one of us to step into a greater sense of being enough, of just claiming it as true. I'm good enough, I'm pretty enough, I have enough money, there is enough money, I have an opportunity before me, I have a sense of purpose. And what Victoria talks about is stepping into a circle of belonging. And that is where our talk title is supposed to start from today, by the way, is it's all about belonging. Now, in this book, Victoria shares with us that I don't get to decide if you belong here at CSL Boulder Valley. That's not my job. I don't get to do that. The board doesn't get to do that. Practitioners don't get to do that. The only person that gets to decide who belongs in this community is each individual, is you yourselves. If you believe you belong, you belong. If you want to question and doubt your sense of belonging here, well, as a community, we have to be really, really careful not to claim belonging for someone else or claim belonging of someone else. None of you belong to me. And we want to be very conscious as we become a community that is, well, as we'll talk about in the coming weeks. Next week, we're going to talk about becoming a beloved community. And the week after that, we'll talk about the spiral of becoming in our own individual lives and as a community. And I got something special, secret for you for the end of the month. I'll tell you about that a little later. But for the first part of this month, as we move into this sense of belonging and becoming a beloved community, we each have an opportunity to decide, is that truly something I want to be a part of? Is this a place where I want to belong? And in that, we become welcoming to others without claiming ownership. This is not a place where we tell people, oh, this is a place where you belong. Yeah. Again, I don't get to make that decision. I don't. Uh-oh.
No, you're back. You were gone for a second, but you're back.
Microphone problems. Okay. I think the sound might have changed a little bit, but excuse me. So it's all about belonging. I want to invite you to think back into your life somewhere. Somewhere where you definitely were told you were an outsider. Somewhere where you were told you don't belong. For me, I'm a minister. I get that a lot. Spirit tells me all kinds of things that I've done where Spirit reminds me, you don't really belong here. Now, that's a little different when we can hear it coming from Spirit than when we hear it coming from a human, from someone else. Perhaps someone we care about, perhaps someone we don't. I can't look around this room and imagine anyone here that at some point in time was not fired from a job. And I could regale you with wonderful stories of how my beloved wife fired me from a job. Job I wasn't really all that happy with at the time, but I really couldn't say that to my boss. So, these things happen. And every step of the way, what I've been able to turn back and look at is that every step of the way, that led to a greater growth for me. It led me a bit further down my path and my journey of enlightenment. And I know that some of you, that we've been together long enough, I know many of you have heard me use that phrase in various ways and in various places. And if you follow me at all on socials and stuff like that, you'll see that phrase quite a bit. And I like to share with people my experience of that. It's actually a phrase by Ram Dass, and it is truly the way I look at what we are and how we show up in the world. We are each on a journey, every one of us. We have been convinced by this trance of scarcity, by this outside influence, maybe call it the media or our parents, bless them, they didn't know better, and maybe this or whatever those outside influences that led us down into this trance of scarcity. We've been influenced by that along our journey, but that hasn't changed the fact that we were born enlightened beings. We are light that took form in the form of human, first as an embryo and then growing. And we'll continue to grow and grow and grow until we outgrow this human body and this body temple. Yeah, something don't like how something microphones are quivering here today. Something in the divine circuits popping up. So we are on this journey, and as soon as we come to that recognition that enlightenment is not something that we must attain, but that it is something we are, it becomes so easy to step beyond the trance. It becomes easier to move into a place where we recognize I inherently belong on this planet. I inherently belong in this body. Even if the body doesn't look exactly like I would like, or maybe it doesn't behave the way I would like it to behave, and maybe it doesn't do things or has shapes I wouldn't prefer, we are still bringing the divine into the human form. And we are inherently perfect, whole, complete. Nothing missing in our lives, nothing absent from our lives. We say to ourselves, it is here that I find my belonging by giving my passion, by giving my gifts. And what I have found is that the only times my life doesn't work is when I allow myself to question that sense of right and of the perfection of where I am in my career and my work and in how I show up. It's when I let the doubt slip in. Did I forget to turn off the teapot? It's when the doubt slips in that says, I don't know if there'll be enough money at the end of the month or at the end of the week. It's when we let the doubt and it's when we let those things slip in that it becomes really easy to slip away from that sense of being in the circle. Being in that place where life is flowing and things are moving and grooving, and I don't even know how. I just get to witness it and participate in it. We are those living experiences and expressions of the divine taking form as human. What more do I need than that? How could I be lacking in that? I'm gonna uh I want to run a workshop on this. I don't want to run a whole class on this, but I want to encourage each of us in our own way to look at where those old limiting beliefs and those old limiting biases really reside within ourselves. Because it's when we do that, we are better able to recognize our inherent enlightened self and then walk the journey as that. Rather than walking the journey as someone that doesn't have enough, or it isn't good enough, or I'll never be enough, or there will never be enough, to walk the journey from a place that recognizes this is all perfect. This is the divine revealing itself all around us. And now what we know is if we do that for ourselves, we can become a vessel, an avenue, a reminder for those around us in how they can make that happen. And yeah, we might have to extend a hand and invite them in. And they get to decide if this is a place where they feel they belong. Because people are actually using this stuff, because people are actually demonstrating these principles. I believe everyone here, I trust that everyone here feels a sense of that belonging. And that as we nurture that within ourselves, as we continue to express and experience that for each other, then that vibration, the seed, the seed vibration that we are creating here. I thought recently, I was reminded, I had one of those funny incidences. I came into my office to try to do something and I bent over in a way that when I stood up, my hat caught a little thingy thing that hangs out off of a plant hanger, a little fairy type icon thing that hangs off a plant hanger. But unfortunately, that was to a plant that is a water, one of the water bamboos. And so the plant wasn't dirt, it was water and rocks. The plant was filled with water and rocks, and it goes boom all over my office. So beyond the non-ministerial words that I might have used to describe the situation, I start cleaning up and I realize
Wait, hold on.
ding,
Is
ding,
it back?
ding, 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 ding. I don't know what's not connected fully. My apologies for that. And what do I realize? But this is a piece of bamboo that at one point, back in probably like 2017, was dead. As far as I could tell, there was no life left in this piece of water bamboo. Have you ever seen a piece of water bamboo when it's dead? It's all shriveled up and it's yellowish and it's all sucked in and there's not. But for some reason, I don't know, laziness, I never threw it away. I just left it in its little cup there. And I kept watering it. And at a certain point, I even stopped watering it, I think. But it came back. It's now a thriving piece of water bamboo. And it came back. And I remembered in that sense of revival where that piece of water bamboo had come from. Now here's where it gets deep. Because that I attained that piece of water bamboo while I was in ministerial school. And I attained it while I was interning at a center somewhere in the Boulder Valley, and it wasn't you. And that piece of bamboo had grown and flourished, and it had pruned itself and died off. Again, sometimes I have a green thumb, just not a green watering can sometimes. And this bamboo has traveled through time and community and been completely dead and revived. And here it was leaping its way out of its planter in onto my floor in a way of saying, okay, time to go to a new vessel. Time for you to rebuild that planter. Time to be replanted in a deeper sense of truth, into time to be replanted and to freshen the roots. In a recent board meeting, it was suggest perhaps we have a class on some of those basics from the science of mind. And I thought to myself, oh, I've always shared with you my understanding or my perspective that this is a very mature community that understands the basics. Which means perhaps it is a perfect time to go back and look at some of those. Perhaps in our own way, perhaps as a community. My point in all this is there are a myriad of ways for us to journey together. We're enlightened beings. We are here to bring that light onto the planet in a powerful way. And we are on this journey of enlightenment together. But you got to want it. You got to want to be on the journey. You got to be willing to continue that journey. We're not here to, I don't believe we're here to just watch the bamboo wither up and die. I believe we are here to be a vital contribution to how the New Thought message is lived in the world, how the science of mind is brought into an active voice in our lives, as our lives. Dear friend of mine teaches is an independent New Thought minister and teaches prayer a bit differently than perhaps we do in Science of Mind. And yet all the steps are there and all the consciousness is there. And all he did is take a little bit of a different tweak of a perspective and called it a practical prayer. Practical prayer. Now that's something I want to get behind. How do we turn our prayers this week, whether they are for it beats before it happens, so I'm learning. It's going to look really fun on the video, I promise. So whether our prayer is for our community or for our country, whether the prayer is one of joy or one of healing, whether the prayer, whatever it might be, let's make it practical. Let's make it something that works in our lives. I believe that's how we stay out of the trance. That's how we stay awake and away from that trance of scarcity. And when it shows up and I think I don't have enough time here, that ain't the truth. That's not how this works. I'm reminded there is enough. When I slip too close to the edge and I think, I don't know, there's not enough money here. This isn't going to work. Turn back to the reminder that we live in an abundant universe. There's more than enough of everything necessary for the fulfillment of your life's mission on this planet at this time. And now I'm starting to preach and now I'm starting to pray. Because that's what a practical prayer does. It reminds us of that great truth. Not just of who we've come here to be, but that great truth that we are part of the infinite oneness of everything. So there is no lack or limitation. There is no emptiness. There is no scarcity. There is abundance. If you're in a safe space to close your eyes, I invite you to do so. If you're listening or watching at another time from a moving vehicle, maybe pull over first. But wherever you may be in physical form, join us in consciousness. Join in a consciousness of oneness, one source, one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence that is moving and breathing and having its being as you, as all of you, as everyone, everywhere. Our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues, our co-workers, our families, our friends, everyone, everywhere. Envision this oneness of all life as we recognize we are all on the journey, just on different parts of the path, just in a different space along the way. And yet everyone is an expression of the light. We are all enlightened as we say we are. We are all enlightened as we express and believe. So I invite each one here to bring forth into the heart, into the mind, into the beingness of who we are. Yes, I am here to serve. Yes, I am here to be. We lift up in consciousness a great vision, a vision of a community where everyone senses their own definition of belonging, where everyone brings their own unique gifts and skills and talents, where everyone brings that sense of love and joy and excitement to living, to being. I see that vision, a world that works for all life. And I claim for each one here a sense of joining into that vision in whatever way fits, in whatever way makes sense, and in whatever way brings joy, in whatever way enlightens our humanness along this journey. Life is good. And we each belong. So I invite us to say yes to that. And in a deep, deep way, gently remind yourself of your own magnificence. For what I know is we are each divine beings on this planet, and who you are, how you show up, in what ways you choose to say yes, it all matters. It all makes a difference. It's all absolutely vital to the evolution of human consciousness. You, the divine you, absolutely vital to the evolution of the collective consciousness of humanity. We all belong. So I am in a space of gratitude for the reminder of this truth, grateful to be a witness to this magnificence taking form, grateful to be a witness to see this vision emerge as every one of this community, as those being attracted to this community right now, of those already finding their way into this community. I am so grateful to witness it, to participate in it, to say yes to it, to join the journey, and to let it happen. With a complete sense of faith and trust, we release this word into the law, the universal law of creation, the law that cannot take this word and return it void, but must return this word fulfilled, that must bring this word into form. We release this prayer into that law and know it is done. And so it is.